Hi, everyone. I'm Kelsey,
And I'm JPET.
and you're listening to the Box Officers Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Please continue to leave us a star rating or review wherever you're listening to this episode.
Yep. Watching a bad movie is like witnessing a serious crime, but have no fear. Box officers are here. Each episode, Kelsey, Georgette, and I will review a new movie, and at the end of each episode, we will classify the film according to the severity of punishment.
Yes, so films can be convicted of a felony, a misdemeanor, an infraction, or on the rare occasion found innocent. This week we are going to be reviewing the movie How
Mm,
to Make a Killing.
yep.
So if you haven't seen it yet, you're going to pause this episode now because there's going to be a lot of spoilers, but otherwise we can
hmm
get into the episode.
All right, into it. So we're gonna start with the cast. Glenn Powell. I know I've seen his face.
Everywhere. They won't let
Yeah,
you not see it, bro. And I'm not hating or anything. I'm just saying.
yeah. I mean, with the jaw like that, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, Top Gun. Yeah, yeah, definitely Top Gun, Twister, and I never saw Running Man, but
Me either, but the
yeah,
streets were saying you don't need to see it. And
uh,
that's really disappointing because, like,
the
yeah,
premise was kind of cool.
I agree. But they're
Yeah.
saying, like, it was nothing to run and go see. So,
Well, I don't want to hear it because the ratings for this movie looked bad. Like after I watched it, and I was like, why were the ratings so low? I even saw somebody comment that, and I was like, don't even look at that. Like the movie was actually like pretty good. It was pretty decent. You
yeah,
know,
the ratings 6.8 out of 10 on IMDb,
yeah,
47% on Rotten Tomatoes. So,
yeah, it's crazy though. That's too low.
it's not certified fresh.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying. I think Glenn Powell is somebody who has like an interesting career. I mean, it happens all the time, but like he has all these amazing like projects. You think about something like Twisters and then Top Gun Maverick. I never
Mhm.
watched Anyone But You, but I never heard any complaints. He was in some older stuff too. I think he was in Hidden Figures. He was also
Yeah.
in Set It Up. Like, so he's The Dark Knight Rises. Like, he's been around. But then the later movies, so I'm going to go ahead and include Anyone But You. You think about The Running Man, you think about
Mhm.
this. It seems like, how do you go from Top Gun Maverick, right?
Yeah.
Being exceptionally good to what we saw today. And maybe that has something to do with the ratings, but I think we're going to have to unpack that. But what do you know about Margaret Qualley? I apologize for butchering her name, guys. I don't know.
I know she was in Happy Gilmore too, and I know she was in that Honey Don't movie as well. I never saw that movie, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's her face. And she was also in,
Almost saw Honey Don't, and then I didn't.
yeah,
And that's the one with Chris Evans, right?
yeah, that's the one with Chris Evans, because I almost saw
Yeah.
it because of that too.
She
And
was also in Poor Things. She was in The Substance. I
mhm.
haven't sat through that because what a horrifying thing to watch. And then Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is what I know her from.
That's yeah, yeah, that's
And
what
she
it
did
was. Yeah,
great in that. I feel
yeah.
like she plays kind of like a same variation of the same person. Not
In this
necessarily
movie,
all the time, but I'm just saying, like, you can
yeah,
kind of, it feels very similar to some things I've seen her do in the past. I don't know. She just has like a little quirkiness to her that I guess gets
yeah,
her landed in certain roles.
might be her face. Um,
She does have one of those faces that kind of like, I don't know, look at.
yeah,
I don't know.
it's. It's kind of like you don't know what's going on underneath that face. You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, the
That's,
little. I guess that helped her little psychoness, in this movie.
yeah, she
Um,
looks like she could be crazy. And I
yeah,
love that for her.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. So Jessica Henwick was also probably like the third most prominent actor in the
hmm
movie. I wasn't super familiar with her work, but her face looked really familiar. I guess I could say maybe I would tie her to Glass Onion if I had to tie her in my brain to a project, like seeing her before, but she's done a lot of
Yeah,
other stuff.
yeah.
Knives Out.
Definitely Zach Woods. His face was super familiar to me.
I actually was so obsessed with Zach Woods. He is
That's
so
crazy.
funny. He has the best comedic timing. And so I didn't know he was going to be in this movie. And I was like, what a perfect surprise. I love him. The Office is one of my favorite shows ever. I've seen
Mhm.
every episode 100 times. I watched it forward and backward. And so that's where I know him from. But he's hilarious. He's actually so funny to me. So I was very pleased to see him in the building. This is one of those movies where you have like a lot of, I like how they balanced it, the big names with, some new people.
Yeah.
You have Topher Grace, like, hey, what are you doing here? Right? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
how'd they afford you? I
Yeah,
don't
it's a
know.
pastor.
Yeah. And I think he's someone who also does like comedy very well. Ed Harris is, well, I would like, what do I need to say? Also, like, how did they get you to agree to do this? Some of them I'm like, "Why are you here?" I also somebody that who I recognize whose work I normally really like, Bill Camp. I just feel like every time I see him he does projects that I like. Like, the premise of the projects he's a part of always, like,
Mhm.
really catch my attention. Last year, I watched this show called Sirens, and I think he was on that. That was so good. I don't know that
Yeah,
it would
he was
appeal
on
to
that.
you, but yeah, it was stuff like that, like Presumed Innocent. That was the year before.
Yeah.
He's always in stuff that, like, really interests me, and I think he's just a good actor.
He was also in Sound of Freedom? That's a movie I've been meaning to watch, but it was
Mhm.
like about like child trafficking and stuff like that.
I did see it, and it was, like, stuff just, if you wanna be depressed, I
Hmm.
guess. Like
Yeah.
but, okay, so, they spent a lot of money to make this happen, $40,000,000.
Oh, wow.
Do you see how much that they made at the box office? It's small.
X? Are you
Yeah,
kidding me?
it's no joke.
Wow, only $3.6 million. Granted, I didn't really see much like
Motion.
did you see a lot of like advertising for it or like marketing at all or
No, but the trailer played like, every time I went to the movies for, like, the past
hmm
month or whatever, I saw this trailer, like, or I heard about it or I
Oh,
saw a
okay.
poster, like, it's been people knew it was
Yeah.
out. The question is,
Mm.
why didn't they go see it?
Yeah. I mean, because
What'd
I
you
mean
like about it?
I liked there was a couple good things I liked about it. I liked the premise. At first I thought, okay, so I'm a fan of the Netflix series, and
Mhm.
this movie gave me like You vibes, you know what I'm saying? Like
I yeah.
the whole incognito, sneaking into places, offing somebody, it gave me a bit of you vibes with a little bit of comedy mixed into it as well.
Mm,
I also liked the plot twist within the movie. Like I liked the plot twist at the end, the guy he killed himself and then he got framed for it. So he basically lost everything that he had like killed people to get. And then he even got to the point where he was kind of like content with everything he had. And then on top of that, he's dealing with this, psycho childhood interest that, she basically like blackmails him for extortion or whatever. And yeah, it was like a lot of like interesting plot elements going on when the movie starts off. Okay, I need to kill this person, this person, this person, this person, and then he's dealing with the things like dealing with Julia, and then he's dealing with he's got this new girlfriend all of a sudden, and then you got the FBI that's kind of like hunting him down a little bit. And then I like the cinematography of the movie as well. I kind of like I'd say I think I text y'all afterwards. I was like, this makes me like want to be rich, low key, and I was like, I'm gonna start with you, even though you're not related to me. I was just
are
kind of
you talking about me?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, just
I
for
You always send the
practice.
weirdest text after you go to see a movie, and I'm, like, so glad that you made it, but, like, what are you talking about? Because you did text me that actually.
It's
So when
like
I
you,
go
you
missing,
guys.
everyone know this is it.
It's
He's
recorded
telling you
too.
right now.
I'm gonna have to wait. Might have to wait before these.
Okay.
But but overall, I did like how the movie went. Now up towards the middle, like in the beginning, you get everything laid out. Up towards the middle, it felt a little slow after his first kill. I was just kind of like, okay, are we going to get on with the plot? Was he just going to keep going or whatever? And then that's when it eventually picks up, especially after the middle. It's kind of like, okay, off this person, off this person, off this person, in a little montage, you know what I'm saying? And then after that, I feel like towards the end was my favorite part because now you're dealing with the anxiety of Julia. she's trying to extort you. And then you've got him dealing with the anxiety of the engagement party. And then, the FBI is on him, and now he's invited over to, the head fellow's house, estate, whatever. And then he pulls up, and now he's in this situation where the house is locked down and he's being hunted, and you think he kind of like wins it at the end, and then you're like, wait, so how did he get in jail and then it's like, oh, Julia's ex or whatever killed himself, and then he got framed for it. So I was like, wow. And then Julia, she was dirty. She was grimy.
Yeah,
Like
that was
I
a good.
actually I remember in the theater, like the way she was moving, and then at the end, and then just her like, yeah, I feel like her actress Margaret just did a really good job with her mannerisms, how she talked, etc. Because can't even say that. I'm not gonna say that. But I did feel like harming Julia. I did feel
Okay. I'm like, what can he say? Like, good on you for recognizing,
yeah.
but like, I was like,
I
what
was
is going through his head right now?
I was upset. I was upset. I'll say that. Like, I felt that anger that I'm pretty sure he had in the movie or whatever. Like, I felt that because I'm like, dang, you moving so grimy. Like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, she extorts him. She gets literally everything that he killed everybody for. And then I like the plot was at the end where he's just like, you know what, whatever. And he just gets in the car with her, and yeah, very,
Yeah.
very like girl boss of her. But I that's the hustle. No. So
Yeah.
she got it one way or the other.
I feel like so I really did like the montage of the quick killings actually, because
Mhm.
I was sitting there thinking like realistically, like I'm not watching you kill 8 people. Like I at a certain point, unless you're just doing like crazy stuff, it's gonna get
Yeah.
boring. So it's kind of like how do you keep that interesting? And I like that they sped through like two of them and
Yeah,
got
yeah.
us back to like the hype of it.
Yeah.
I also like that it was only an hour and 45 minutes long.
Yeah.
Really
It
can't
felt
push it past that point because this
yeah.
is not a movie that requires more, and nowadays everybody wants movies that are 3 hours long, and not everybody needs to do that. So I like that they
Mhm.
realized they were not called to that. That does not need to be their testimony. But you said that you thought what was it? Just confusion.
Mhm.
Did the husband actually kill himself or did Margaret's character kill him and like make it look like a suicide? I wasn't clear. It's possible he really killed himself because she said something about like, "Don't you want to know my secret? It has something to do with handwriting," and I didn't know to take
Yeah.
that as like she has a note or like she forged the note. I don't know how to take it
No, I think what had in my
because
head
I'd
when I
be
was
like, "Why did
watching
he kill himself?" Like I get that it's
yeah,
bad, but like, did you have to kill yourself?
I
'Cause it
guess I
feels
feel
like it
like
was a setup, like, luring
yeah,
him to the office, and I feel like that only works if you know he's going to kill himself or something, but if you kill him after Glenn Powell's character goes into the office, then it's like,
yeah.
okay, you can just make it look like a suicide later if you feel like it, I guess.
Yeah, true. But I guess in my head, when I was watching the movie and I saw the ending, I was thinking like, yeah, he went into the office. Yeah, he assaulted, the ex-boyfriend. But what they caught him on was that his fingerprints were on the same thing he was on the same thing that the ex-boyfriend, I guess, stepped himself in the neck with or whatever.
I thought he was
So,
like it was set up by Margaret's character and like to look like it was a murder and
yeah,
then she was like, "Actually, I can get some money out of this. Let me make a note so it looks like a suicide." And now
yeah.
Glenn gets out of jail, but he's
Now,
lost.
I think that she did forge the note
Mm,
because I think what she was going for was she would just wants that 300K out of him. But when the ex-boyfriend ended up killing himself and then they found the fingerprints on whatever, that's when, the police or whatever were like, "Oh, it must be him." So
mm.
now he's stuck in jail. He's about to be killed, on the death penalty or whatever. And she's like, "You know what? I bet I could forge a note because, I guess, killing himself over a breakup, that would be a noteworthy, like thing, whatever." She was gonna forge a note, bring it to the police and be like, I found this note. It wasn't, whoever that killed him. My boyfriend killed himself. Because the boyfriend was, he was depressed or whatever. He was like, oh,
He
she's just
was
gonna take
depressed for sure. I
yeah.
didn't think he had enough reasons to like literally kill himself, but like, yeah.
Well, I mean, suicide is a very serious for our viewers. Suicide is a very serious topic, and people kill themselves for a multitude of reasons. Um,
This is so true.
so like okay, yeah, break up, whatever. But I think in his head, he was thinking, she's gonna take all the money, she's gonna leave me, she's gonna run away. My life sucks, whatever, whatever. So he killed himself in the movie. But like Glenn said, he was like, all of that, and I got caught off of a letter opener with my fingerprints on it. So neither of them were expecting that, but in her head, she was thinking, he still has all of this money in his name. I bet I can get him out of jail in exchange for everything he has. He signs all of that over, and then I give the police that note. Because if you're thinking about it, if the note were in the office with him, the police would have found that note and been like, okay, he obviously killed himself.
Yeah.
But instead, what she did is she just forged the note to make it look like he left one. And then that way he could, like, that way she could extort him one last time.
Hmm.
So that's how it played out, at least to my understanding. That makes the most sense.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like I understand why people didn't like this movie, given that I didn't like this movie. So I'd love to share with you guys. I brought a binder
Please,
to get
please
into. No,
share.
I'm kidding. I okay, there's just so much that irritated me. So like when you have a plot like this and you have a person who's gone through a lot, but like nothing abnormal, like I'm so sorry you didn't eat from a silver spoon, nor did most people in the world, like are not rich billionaires, right? So I get that he feels like his mother was wronged and his mother has passed. Like, okay, cool. Condolences. But like to go from that to just killing people off the rip. Like, I don't feel like they showed us like a really good journey of him escalate because it takes a lot to take a life. He did it so quickly, so casually. Either something's not right with him and they just didn't show us enough, or like he did work up to it and they didn't show us enough context of him like battling this inside and out, because there was like one scene where he sat at a table and thought about it, and I'm like, you don't decide to start killing people after thinking about it one time, or like after running into a girl from your childhood while you're at
Mm.
work. You don't just start killing people. Like, that's not a normal thing. So I felt like the whole thing escalated in a very unnatural way. And I think they could have given more time to that. And then also, I feel like Margaret's character also didn't make a lot of sense to me, because what would, like, I get that you're down bad, but like again, the escalation, like she didn't even give it enough time to blackmail him. Like she literally was like, I want my money today. And then she just was like, "You know what? I didn't get it. You're going to jail and death penalty." Like, who jumps like that? Like, it was just crazy. I feel like stuff like that, like, again, I've never been rich and had to like extort somebody or anything like that. But I just feel like you give it a second. Like, why? Because he was actually going to, it gave me the impression he was
Yeah.
going to give her the money, but she was not going to get it right here, right now. And I just didn't understand
Are you talking about
the
when she asked for the 300,000? Or
yeah, and I'm like, he was mad, but, like, he was obviously being blackmailed, so he was gonna do it. Realistically, like, he's gonna do it. So it's like,
yeah,
you don't wanna wait for him to get the money, like, you have to ruin all of
yeah.
this right now. I
Well,
just thought
he didn't end up in jail because of her. He ended up in jail because of his fingerprints.
true, because I think it's because, like,
Because I
I
think
do
she
think
got
that
that
she
money.
framed him. I think that's the thing. So I'm like, why would
Okay.
you I feel like she framed him, even if it wasn't, let's say he did, like, actually kill himself. I feel like she did something to make it, like, because it's just too big of a coincidence that he would kill himself the same day that Glenn Powell's character walks into the office and, like, harasses him on camera. Like, after he's
Mhm.
evaded the cameras this whole time, because that was a part of the plot. They're like, we can't really see him on the security cameras. So I'm like, the fact that that happened the one time he's caught on camera, I just feel like she had something to do with it. Cause like, I don't know. And I think
Mhm.
she also like didn't make sense to me in terms of like her wanting him. I mean, I feel like they should have really looked into that relationship more and showed us like, I mean, I understood it as she doesn't want that man for real. She just wants
Yeah.
somebody who wants her, and her marriage sucks. But even that very
Yeah.
first time she called him, like, she didn't know he was rich when she called him the first time. So I'm like, you actually just called him because you saw him in the store. Like, maybe it sparked the thought in your mind. And like, yeah,
Mhm.
Again, maybe that's how affairs happen. I've never had an affair. So I don't know how, it feels to cheat on my husband when he's sitting across the living room. But I just feel like
Yeah,
it's
that
just
wasn't extra
all
crazy.
was just she was everyone in this movie was so extremely impulsive in a way that's like unrealistic versus like if you watch a movie like Good Times or Uncut Gems or even Marty Supreme, that's impulsiveness in a way that like I can actually see somebody acting like that. Something about this didn't read real to me. And I felt like it was funny, but like not as funny as it should have been. Like there was a lot of
Mhm.
very obvious attempts at humor where I did not laugh. And I'm never gonna. So I
I
just
can
felt
agree with
like
that. I can agree with that part.
yeah, like the jokes were falling flat at a
Yeah.
lot of times for me. And so I can see how it got a low rating. And overall, like the idea is really cool. But even just like, I'm sorry, like this is like me being like a really annoying, like elitist point of view when I view film. Like, I'm not going to say I agree with what I'm about to say, but it is how I feel. Whenever a
Mhm.
movie starts off with the end, like you're basically having him in jail is spoiling the movie, right? To
Mhm.
me, and then you go back and you're like, let's start at the beginning, right? And then you have the main character narrating the film. To me, that feels cheap. I feel like that's an idea
Come
that people in
on.
the fourth grade have. Like, they're like, this is the story of the time I wound up in prison. Let me tell it from the beginning. Like, it just feels so elementary to me. Like, I hate that. I hate when people do that. Like, it's
But
really
a
hard
lot
for me
of
to
good
fall for that.
movies have done that. I mean, a
No, they
lot of good
haven't.
movies have done. Yeah, they have. Yeah.
I can't
I
think of
mean,
what.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I did have that exact thought when I first started watching, like when the movie began. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, okay, it's one of those movies where it's kind of like, you know, this happened and this is what led up to it. It's kind of like, no, you're probably wondering how I got myself in this situation.
Yes, like, that's
This is,
so
yeah, yeah, yeah.
corny. It was a corny movie, that's why I didn't like it, it was corny. The whole thing. The whole thing was corny. And if you like corny movies, then you'll like this one, but you look at Rotten Tomatoes, most people don't. 60% of people don't like corny movies, I guess.
I
That's what
think
happened.
I feel like most people were hating. And then going back to I feel like if you're gonna give it a rating, it should at the very least be like a 6 out of 10. Like if you're giving it anything lower than that, okay,
I
you're
gave
being
it
picky. You're
I
being
am
picky.
picky. I So have you seen this Tyra Banks meme? Probably not, from an America's Next Top Model. It was like, I want to give you a 0, but that's not possible. So I give you a 1. Like, that's how I felt about this movie.
Yeah,
That's how I
we
felt.
got polarizing opinions. I'm not
Yeah, when
calling
you
this the
texted,
greatest movie.
I gotta find the text message. I want the people to know. Imma screenshot it too.
Yeah, screenshot it.
You said he
Yep,
said,
8 out of 10.
"Kelsey, this movie makes me wanna get rich. Kelsey, I'm
Yes.
starting with you." That movie
Yes.
was good, bit slow towards the middle, but plot twist was crazy,
Hmm.
and he meant that,
Okay.
y'all.
Might have been over exaggerating, crazy,
So
but
when I went, I said,
the plot
"This
twists
is gonna
were
be awesome." Imagine my surprise when it sucked. I was like, "This is so
okay.
disappointing."
Maybe I got your expectations too high. It did not suck, and y'all got to see it for yourself. If y'all haven't seen it, you have to see it for yourself. It,
They do.
I must
Yeah.
have got your expectations too high. It must have been my fault. My bad.
You only gave me a sliver of hope because I truthfully, I picked this movie because this week it was the movie I was most interested in terms of new releases. But like, I don't think
Mm,
I necessarily would have went to go see this on my own, though the premise, like the plot, the idea is my speed. Like, that's my kind of movie. Something not it's not a who done it because you know who did it, but like
mhm.
from everyone else's perspective in the movie, it's a who done it. And like I love like a plot, a scheme. This is totally my vibe. So for it to not speak to me over the past like month of trailers, it didn't speak to me on my drive to the theater. It didn't speak to me when I sat down. Even by the time we got to Nicole Kidman's ad, I still wasn't feeling it. Like I went by myself because I didn't think it was right to take anyone with me to spend money on it. And I was right. So my gut was saying no. Would you like to give your rating? Like, what do you think?
I give this rating a very solid 7 out of 10. Very solid 7 out of 10. I actually enjoyed it. Like at the end of the movie, I
Very
was like, oh,
solid?
that's pretty very solid. very solid 7 out of 10 at the end of the movie. This is just me personally. At the end of the movie, I was like, oh, that was pretty good. Because I went into it with like zero expectations. I saw the trailer like 2 hours before, and I was just like, this gives, kind of psycho, Patrick Bateman vibes slash, you from Netflix. So I was like, okay, I'll check this out, you know, and I was pleasantly surprised by some of the, twists. I guess I was just really engaged with the movie. So when some of the twists came around, I was like, oh man, like I wasn't expecting that to happen. I was expecting a happy ending. That didn't happen, yada yada. And then going back to the Margaret thing, I feel like she was just crazy because it seemed like it went all downhill after he rejected her because she showed up at his crib and he like kicked her out. And then after that, she just went, crazy. But I do agree with the fact that their relationship was never like fully established. Like, yeah, they like had a little childhood fling or whatever. And why is she so crazy about him later on, And, like you said earlier, it's kind of like she plays the same character a lot in different movies. So in this movie, it was kind of like playing that same character, but there was no reasoning behind it.
Mm.
But I personally did enjoy the character, but I guess it was lacking like reasoning behind it. I just assumed that she was just crazy.
Yeah, like, where's the motivation for her to act like
Yeah.
that? Like, you don't have the right. Just
Yeah.
unlikable for no reason.
Yeah, but to me, the movie was fun. I just enjoyed it. I wasn't looking at it like, oh, this is gonna be a blockbuster. It's just another A24 movie. They make a lot of movies, and not
They
all of their
make
movies.
these.
Yeah, yeah, not all of their movies are gonna be, life changing or whatever. I just saw it as like a nice. It was short too. It was like an hour and a
Mhm.
half, hour 45. It was like a nice short story to, just I just enjoyed it. It was like a little short story. It was like reading a short little book about how some guy killed his family to get the inheritance. So
What would
I give it
you like
a
your criminal, like,
now now yeah. As
judgment?
for my verdict, I'd give it an infraction. I know you're gonna give it a felony, of course, but I'd give it an infraction simply because of, or maybe like a heavy. You know what? I'll even say I would give it a misdemeanor just because it's not just one thing. If it was just one thing, it'd be an infraction. But there's a couple things that where I'm like, okay, yeah, they could have done better here and there, and it was slow a little here, but it's a very light misdemeanor because overall, like I actually liked the movie. I even had a couple friends like they went and saw the movie and they were just like, "Oh yeah, it was pretty good. 7 out of 10. 8
They
out
did
of
not
10,
say
six
that.
out of 10." I literally have a screenshot. I'll send it to you. I have a
I
screenshot.
will put it in here so the people
Okay,
can know.
yeah, I will.
That's
He said
so
7 out of 10,
funny.
and I was like, "What did you enjoy about it?" And he, told me what he enjoyed. So I was like,
This is
"Okay, my
so
feelings are
funny.
valid. My feelings are valid."
That is so funny. He had to go get support, you guys, because he knew
No.
he wouldn't have any here. Like,
Even Nay, I saw it with Nay, and she was like, "Oh yeah, it was pretty good." So I think overall, I think you've just been on the internet too much. You're taking other people's opinions and you're letting it affect yours.
no, the real thespians know the truth. Honestly, a misdemeanor seems way more fair than whatever you were saying at first. Like,
Thank you.
I'm
Yeah,
not mad at that. I actually, and you mentioned A24. A24 is one of my favorite production companies. Some of
yeah.
my favorite movies
I
have come from
remember.
there. Yeah,
I have
my
that
24th
poster.
birthday, guys. The theme was A24, and I made poster. I'm gonna put it in here, guys. There were posters that I photoshopped my face into for different A24 movies, and J Pat took the one
Mhm.
of me as the
Well,
whale.
yeah.
So that was crazy. But yeah, this is obviously a felony. So we don't even gotta, like, what's there to say? I didn't like the movie. I didn't like anything about it.
Oh
Outside of, I will say
gosh.
this, brilliant idea. Like, I love the idea, which is why it hurt me so bad that I didn't like the movie at all. I
Mhm.
like the cast. So many of the people on the cast, like you heard me at the beginning. I'm genuinely a fan. Like, this is not me like talking against the actors, right? I just
Yeah.
don't think you can only, it doesn't matter how good of an actor you are, if the script is not giving what it's supposed to give, you can't save that. You can't do anything with that. And I feel like I didn't like the script at all. And then, you mentioned earlier, like, it felt like a little story, like, "Oh, cute story." I wish that's what it was. I feel like this would have done really well as, like, a creepy
Mm.
pasta post or something. Like,
Ex
that's all it
ex
should have been.
exactly, like, that's exactly what I meant by a short story. Like, a literally,
Yes.
like yeah, so that's why I enjoyed it, and I do listen to those short stories, like, literally all the time. Like, it's one of my
Yeah.
there's a podcast I really like, it's called Creepcast, and they just read those, like, every Sunday.
Mhm.
So, when I watch the movie, or just when I watch some movies in general, if it gives that short story vibe to me, then I don't take it crazy serious. I just enjoy it for what it is, you know? And then I enjoy the good parts. So, I guess the good parts just resonated with me a lot after I
Enough.
watched it,
Yeah.
and that's all I could, like, think about, and that's why I was like, "Oh, that was pretty good." Like, I feel like when I saw the trailer, it basically summed up the movie for me. So I
It
saw the
did.
trailer right beforehand, and then when I saw the movie, I was like, "Okay, that's exactly what I was kind of like imagining in my head." So that's my like, that's my verdict. That's just how I feel about it, and I think everybody should feel the same way as me.
Lock 'em up.
I think everybody should feel the same.
Well, in the end, were we even that far apart? I mean, a misdemeanor, a felony, those feel very,
You'd
they're
go lower
neighbors.
if you could. You'd go lower if you could, like you
I'd
said.
put them under the jail if I could. Like, this is really
No.
annoying. Like, I did not like this at all. And, you know, I'm going to be so real. I'm worried for next week. As someone who likes a classic horror movie, yeah, okay, I know I'm
Scream.
confusing people because I said I get scared easily. There's certain types of horror movies I can watch, and like Scream, the franchise, is
Mhm.
in the category of things I can watch. And it's so classic that I like fall for those kinds of things. So with Scream 7 being the movie of the week next week, I'm feeling a bit worried because I don't know, how do we get 7 of these? But I'll save it for next week. And
Yeah.
you guys can hear about it here on the Box
On the
Officers
Box
podcast.
Officers podcast.